morning. Today we are going to start the new unit. It's a new chapter. It is the beginning of your calculus. In the calculus, the first topic we are going to start is limit. First of all, we will try to understand the meaning of limit. Right? In the limit, we have something like this. Meaning of this one is x tending to 0. This we read as, or we can write, 0. We can read this as x tends to 0. This is what we read. This is how we read this notation, x tends to 0. Right? Now, what is the meaning of x tending to 0? This we will try to understand with our number line. Let us take a number line. On this number line we have 0, right? On the right side we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then other side we have -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on, right? This is the number line. Now x tending to 0. That means you are approaching to 0. X tends to 0 means x approaches to 0. X approaches to 0. Approaches to 0. Now, when we say x approaches to 0, then there is possibility that x we can approach to 0 from right side, or we can approach the 0 from left side. Is this okay? So, to approach to 0, to reach up to 0, you have two ways. You can either reach from right side, or maybe you can reach from left side. Is this okay? So, when you are reaching to when you are reaching to 0 from left side, we say it is left hand limit, and when you reach from the right side, we call this as right hand limit. Is this okay? Now, this we will try to understand with a function. Let us take one question of exercise 14A. Exercise 14A. The first question we have is, with this question we will try to understand the meaning of limit, right? And here the type 1 question is, you are given a function and you are asked to show that the limit does not exist, right? Show that the limit of this function does not exist. What does it mean and how do we do this? Okay, so x tending to 2. I told you just now x tending to 2 means what? X approaching to 2. Now x you can approach from either left side or you can approach from right side. Clear? So we will calculate first of all when the limit is approaching, when x is approaching to 2 from left side, right? And since x is approaching to 2 from left side, we will call it as left hand limit. We will call it as left hand limit. So I will write here left hand limit. Clear? Now since we are approaching from left hand side, right? So this we will write as limit x tending to 2 minus, right? This indicates the direction, from which direction you are approaching to 2. Is this very clear? So when you are approaching from left hand side, we will always write this as 2 minus. What the numerical meaning of this one is, x is not exactly 2, but it is approaching to 2. The meaning of this is, x is approaching to 2, but x is not exactly 2. Because if x becomes 2, right, then this becomes invalid. It becomes undefined. Is this very clear? Then this function is undefined. You can just see, if I take x is equal to 2, then the denominator part is 2 minus 2 will become 0. And you know, like any number divided by 0 is undefined. Therefore, x is never exactly 2, but x is tending to be 2, right? X is trying to be as close as possible to 2. Okay, and this is approaching from the left side. That is why we are writing this as x approaches to 2 minus. Is this okay? So this is as it is, x minus 2 divided by x minus 2. Is this okay? Now here, for this what we can do is we can say let x is equal to 2 minus h. You know that x is not exactly 2. It is little bit, by a very small quantity it is less than 2. Maybe x is 1.999999, right? But not exactly 2. Is this okay? So this is what we have tried to show here. The physical meaning of this I am trying to show you here, that x is not exactly 2. X is a little, very small quantity less than 2. That is why that small quantity is subtracted from 2. Is this very clear? And from here we can say, as x is approaching to 2, this h is approaching to 0. As x goes more and more closer to 2, h will become more and more smaller. So that is why we are saying h is approaching to 0. Is this very clear? Now this function will then change. This limit will change. This is limit, right? Now this limit will change into h tending to 0. H tending to 0. Now since you have assumed this value of x as equal to 2 minus h, so this all the x will be replaced by 2 minus h. So x will be written as 2 minus h minus 2 mod of, right? This is absolute value sign. And then denominator is 2 minus h minus 2. Is this very clear? After this now we will simplify. After simplifying only, the limit value will be taken. So minus 2 cancel, this plus 2, this 2 cancel, this minus 2, right, is equal to, now limit h tending to 0. Is it okay? Now this is minus h. This minus h, you know, like the beauty of absolute value sign is, any number comes out of the absolute value, it becomes signless. It becomes signless. Therefore, it will be simply as h. And down will be minus h. Clear? Now this is simplified, right? So this becomes minus 1 is equal to limit h tending to 0, and this is minus 1. Clear? After the function is completely simplified, then you have to use the value of h. So if you have h anywhere in the function, you can use it. If not, then nothing to do. So your answer becomes minus 1. This becomes the value of your left hand limit. Is this okay? Now the question says, show that the limit of this function does not exist. Meaning of this one is, if it does not exist, if the limit does not exist, then the left hand limit will be different from the right hand limit. If the value of left hand limit is different from the value of right hand limit, then we can say that the limit does not exist. Is it okay? So let us see whether the limit exists or not. Here we have calculated this value. If the value of right hand limit comes different from this one, then this statement will become true, because then we will say that the limit does not exist. Clear? So let us calculate now right hand limit. Right hand limit is equal to, now since we are approaching to this 2 from the right side, so when you approach to 2 from right side, that means the value of these 2 will be little bit more than that, right? Because you are approaching from right side. So maybe 2.1, maybe 2.01. So it is greater than 2. Therefore, we will write this as limit x tending to 2 plus. That means this 2 is, this x is little bit more than 2. Here it was little bit less than 2, because you are approaching from left side. And this side now you are approaching from right side. Then we will rewrite the question. X minus 2 over x minus 2. Once again we will assume in the same way. Let x is equal to 2 plus h now. And we will say, as x approaches to 2, h is approaching to 0. Is this okay? So this will be same in all the question. This step will be same in all the question. Now we can replace the value of x by 2 plus h. So this is equal to limit x tending to 2. Oh, sorry. Now we will change the limit. Limit will become h tending to 0. So the value of x will be replaced by 2 plus h minus 2 divided by 2 plus h minus 2. Now we'll simplify this minus, this plus 2 cancel, this 2, this minus 2 cancel, and then this h without sign it will come out. So limit h tending to 0. So this becomes signless h, and down is positive h. So this 2 is cancelled, this is equal to 1, and therefore there is no h now, so this value cannot be used anywhere. Now finally your answer is 1. Now look here, the value of your left hand limit you got was minus 1, the value of right hand limit you got is equal to 1, and these two are different. Therefore we will say, since LHL left hand limit is not equal to RHL, therefore we will say limit does not exist. Okay, so this will be the process when you are asked to prove that the limit exists or does not exist. If you are asked to calculate limit exists or does not exist, then this will be the process. So I will do few more questions, after that it will be clear to you. Thank you. Now we have a different function and the question is almost same. Here the question is, show that this limit does not exist. Again, same question. So for this given function, we will calculate the left hand limit and the right hand limit, and if the value comes different, then the statement is correct, right? So let us check it. Left hand limit is equal to, how do you write? Limit x tending to pi over 2, right? Since we are approaching from left side, so minus. Is it okay? And then this is 10x, right? 10x. Is it all right? After this, now we will assume x is equal to pi over 2 minus h, right? Because x is not exactly pi over 2, it is little less than pi over 2. So how much less? By a very small quantity. That small quantity is denoted as h. Clear? Now we will write here, as x approaches to pi over 2, h is approaching to 0. Clear? Now we will change the limit. So this becomes limit h tending to 0, 10, and then x we will write as pi over 2 minus h. Is it okay? Pi over 2 minus h. Now, what will be the next step? The next step will be, we will write this as, this is pi over 2. You know, like when the angle is pi over 2, 90 plus theta or 90 minus theta, then the trigonometrical ratio will change. So let us solve this function. Limit h tending to 0. So this 10 will change into cot, and cot of h. So this function is simplified. We always simplify the function, and after the function is simplified, then we use the value of h. So here we are going to use the value of h. So the value of h is 0. So is equal to cot of h. Means cot of 0. Cot of 0 is what? Tan of 0 is what? Tan of 0 is 0, because it is coming 0 over 1. Therefore cot 0 will be infinity. Is this okay? Is equal to infinity. Is equal to infinity. This is the value of your left hand limit. Now let us calculate the value of right hand limit. Right hand limit is equal to limit x tending to, now from right hand side, so it will be pi over 2 plus, right? And we will write here this as 10x. Once again, for this also we will assume x as equal to, let x as equal to, let x is equal to pi over 2 plus h. Clear? And then we write as x approaches to pi over 2, h is approaching to 0. Right? Now let us change the limit. Is equal to limit h tending to 0. So this 10, now here x will be replaced by the assumed value pi over 2 plus h. Is it okay? Now this trigonometrical ratio will change. So this will be limit h tending to 0. Now pi over 2 plus h. That means again the trigonometrical ratio will change. So this will become cot of h. Cot of h. Okay. Now we have to be very mindful also about the sign. Here this came in the first quadrant. That is why we did not discuss about the sign, and it came out positive. But here this cot pi over 2 plus h will go in the second quadrant. Second quadrant only the sign is positive. Sign and then its reciprocal cosec will be positive. Remaining all will become negative. And this is 10. So this will become negative. Therefore that minus sign I am writing here. Is it okay? After this is simplified, we can now put the value of h. So minus cot of 0. Once again cot of 0 will be infinity. And this is because minus sign. Therefore this will become minus infinity. So the left hand limit you got was plus infinity, right hand limit you got was minus infinity, and therefore we can see that they are not same. Therefore we can say that the limit does not exist. So we can say since left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, therefore limit does not exist. Am I very clear? So after seeing these two questions, you might have noticed that the pattern is same. So you just have to know the pattern and then follow the exact same step. We'll move on to the next question now. Question number 3. This kind of question, this type of question is called as a multifunctional question. Multifunctional question because there are two functions given to you. Fx is equal to x square plus 4. Another function is fx is equal to x cube. Right? Where the value of this x is given as less than 2, and for this the value of x is given as greater than 2. Is this very clear? So this is the function given to you, and then using this function you have to find limit of fx when x is tending to 2. Is this okay? So we have to find the value of this limit. We have to find the limit of this function. We have to find the limit of this function. Is this very clear? So this question also we will do in the same manner, right? We will try to calculate the left hand limit and then we will try to calculate right hand limit. Is it okay? Here, of course, they did not tell us to prove that or show that the limit exists or does not exist. So if we find out one limit also, it will be enough. But here we are going to find out both the limits. Is it very clear? So let us see how can we find the left hand limit for this function and the right hand limit. Is this okay? So to find out this limit, we are given two different functions. So we are going to learn how to use the appropriate function. Is it okay? So first of all, we are going to calculate the left hand limit. Left hand limit is equal to, for this given function. So since this is the left hand limit you are going to calculate, that means this we will write as limit x tending to 2 minus, right? And then fx. Now, when you say fx, there are two fx. This is the fx and this also is fx. Now, which one should I use? This fx or this fx? Now, this is the problem with the multifunctional question. Because now you are going to calculate the left hand limit. So you showed that you are going to calculate the left hand limit. Now, whose limit will be calculated? Which function's limit will be calculated? Right? Now we have to learn how to select the correct function. Is this okay? Now that we can know from here. This left hand, you are calculating the left hand limit, and here the x is not 2. It is little less than 2. That means the value of x is less than 2. Now in which function you see the value of x less than 2? Am I clear or not? This is because this says that x is not 2, x is a little less than 2. So in this two function, where you see that the value of x is less than 2? Obviously, first function. So in place of this fx, now we will write x square plus 4. X square plus 4. We will choose this function and we will find the limit of this function. Is this very clear now? After this, now after you have selected the function, then you will again go for the same thing. Let x is equal to 2 minus sign, so minus h, 2 minus h, and from here we know as x approaches to 2, h will be approaching to 0, and therefore the limit will change. So we'll write here limit h tending to 0, right? And now for x you will put the value as 2 minus h, so 2 minus h whole square and then plus 4. After this, now we'll simplify. I told you after changing this limit you have to simplify the function, and only at the end we will put the value of h. So we are going to now simplify. This is limit h tending to 0. This is a minus b whole square we can use. So a square means 4, 2 square means 4, minus 2ab means 4h, and plus b square means h square, and then plus 4. Now if we have like term we can simplify. So there is some like term, we will simplify. Limit h tending to 0, 4 plus 4 is 8, minus 4h and then plus h square. Now your function is completely simplified. After the function is simplified, you can put the value of h as equal to 0. Wherever there is h, that part will become 0. So here we can put the value. So this becomes 8 minus 4 into 0 plus 0 square. Now you know that this part will become 0, this part will become 0, so you are left with only 8. So this is the value of your limit. Clear? Now likewise we are going to calculate the right hand limit. Right hand limit. Now right hand limit. So we are writing this as limit x tending to 2 plus, right? Now in which function you see that the value of x is more than 2? This says it is x less than 2, and this says x is more than 2. That means for this function, for this limit, we are going to take another function. So here we are going to find it out for x cube. Hope understood now? We have to learn how to choose the right function. After this, now we can assume let x is equal to 2. This is because plus, so plus h, and then we can say as x approaches to 2, h is approaching to 0, right? And now we can change the limit is equal to limit h tending to 0, and for x we will write now 2 plus h, so 2 plus h whole cube. Clear? And now we can a plus b whole cube expansion we can do. We can simplify the function. Only after the function is simplified we can put the value of h as equal to 0. So a cube means 2 cube means 8 plus 3a square b. So 3 into a square means 4. So 3 4s are 12, and then h plus 3ab square. So 3 2 is 6 and h square. So 6h square, and then h cube. So your function is now simplified. After simplified, then you have to check if there is any like term. But here unfortunately there is no like term. That means this function is already simplified now. Now directly we have to put the value of h as equal to 0. So wherever you have h, you can put as equal to 0. So this part will become 0, this part will become 0, this part also will become 0. Only we will be left with 8. So we will write here 8 plus 12 into 0 plus 6 into 0 square plus 0 cube. So finally what it is? It is 8 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to 8. So your answer is now this way. You also have proved not only you have calculated the value of the function, both the function, but also you came to know that the two values are same. Therefore we can also conclude that since left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, therefore limit does exist. Limit does exist. So not only we have calculated the limit, but also we have proved that the limit exists. Clear? So if the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, then it is said to be existing. Thank you. Once again we are discussing about the same topic, same type of question, limit exists or not, for different type of functions. So now we have a very simple function. Sometimes the things that looks very simple also comes out complicated. That is why I am not skipping any question. All the type I am touching all the time, right? only few questions I'll be leaving for you for your assignment. So we will once again find out the left hand limit, because we have to find out that limit does exist or not. So we will find out both the limit, left hand limit and the right hand limit, right? After seeing the 3 questions, now this is the 4th question. So when I do this question, you will be also able to understand that what will be the next step. Beforehand only you will be able to know what exactly I am going to do, right? So we are calculating now left hand limit. Left hand limit is equal to, so we will write here limit x tending to 0 minus, because left hand limit, so it is from left side, therefore it is less than 0, little less than 0, by a very small quantity less than 0, and that small quantity we later on denote as h. So this is your function 1 over x. Now we are going to assume let x is equal to 0 minus h, right? Because from the left hand side, therefore subtracting. And here then we write as x approaches to 0, h also is approaching to 0. So with this we'll change the limit, and this is limit h tending to 0. Therefore we will write this as 1 over, now for x we will write this as 0 minus h, 0 minus h, right? And then we will write this as 0 minus h will be minus h, right? So this minus h I will take it out. So can I write this minus sign out here? And then we will write here limit h tending to 0, and this is 1 over h, because this minus of this h I am writing here. Clear? Now I am going to put the value. So when I put the value here, 0 will come in the denominator. So 1 divided by 0, any number divided by 0, it is always undefined, it is always infinity. Therefore your answer of left hand limit is minus infinity. Is this very clear now? Now likewise we are going to calculate the right hand limit. Right hand limit, this is limit x tending to 0 plus. So this we will write as 1 over x. Okay, and then once again we will assume let x is equal to 0 plus h. So as x approaches to 0, h is also approaching to 0. So the limit will change here. This is limit h tending to 0. This will be 1 over h. X is equal to 0 plus h. So 0 plus h. Now this will become finally limit h is tending to 0. This is 1 over h. Your function is already simplified now. We can put the value. So again 1 divided by h will become 1 divided by 0 will be equal to infinity, right? So here the left hand limit you got was minus infinity, right hand limit you got as plus infinity. Therefore we can say since the left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, therefore we can conclude limit does not exist. Is it very clear? Thank you. We are moving on to question number 9. This question is same question but in asked in a different manner. What the question says, if f is an even function, if f is an even function, that means the function is an even function, then prove that the left hand limit, what we will read this is 0 minus and this is 0 plus. So we will read this as left hand limit and this we will read as right hand limit, right? So the question says if f is an even function, then prove that the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. That's the meaning of this one. So the function is not given as such. No, normally in the previous questions we were always given a function, right? But then here we are given it in the form of a word sum. The function is given, but it is given in the form of a word sum. So we should be able to extract the function. Once the function is extracted, then we have to prove that the left hand limit is equal to right hand limit. So that's very easy. The problem is only with the function. Clear? So let us see how can we extract it. F is an even function, fx. F is an even function. Clear? Fx is the even function, and then fx is an even function, right? Fx is an even function. How do you denote? What do you mean by even number? What do you mean by even number? Even number is any number that is multiple of 2. No? Or we can say is divisible by 2. We can define this even number in any one of these two ways, right? So, how it is if we say even number as the multiple of 2? Isn't it? So, if we say that, then we will be able to write the function as 2x. Now, does this represent even number? 2x. Because this 2x means it's a multiple of 2. X can be any integer. X can be any natural number or integer. In that case, this will always give you even number. If it is positive, it will give you positive even number. If x is negative, then it will give you negative even number. But it will always give you, for any value of x, this will give you a even number. Is this very clear? So, now for this function we will find out the left hand limit and the right hand limit, and then see whether they are equal or not, because it is said to be equal. It is said to be equal. That means our calculation also should be same. So let us calculate the left hand limit. LHL, left hand limit, is equal to left hand limit of this fx, right? We will write this as limit fx and then x tending to 0 minus. Is this okay? Now for this fx, what we have is 2x. So we will write this as limit x tending to 0 minus, and for fx now we will write the value as 2x, right? Now after this, you know what we do is we say let x is equal to 0 minus h, and as x approaches to 0, h is approaching to also 0, right? Therefore the limit will change. So this will become limit h tending to 0, right? And then this is 2, and for x we will write as 0 minus h. So 0 minus h. After this we will simplify this function. When you simplify the function, it becomes what? H tending to 0. 2 into 0 is 0, right? And 2 into h is minus 2h. Clear? Now put the value of h. H is 0, so you put the value. This is equal to 0 minus 2 into 0 is equal to 0, right? So this becomes the value of your left hand limit. Now we will calculate the right hand limit, and let us see whether we are getting the same value or not. Is this okay? Okay. RHL is equal to limit x tending to 0 plus, and this is your fx. And for fx now you will write limit x tending to 0, right? X tending to 0. So for fx now we will write once again 2x. After this we will assume let x is equal to 0 plus h, and as x approaches to 0, h is also approaching to 0, right? We'll change the limit. This is equal to limit h tending to 0. This limit will change to h tending to 0, and then 2, and for 0 we'll write, for x we'll write 0 plus h. 0 plus h is equal to, now put the simplify, this is coming limit h tending to 0. This is 0, and this is then 2h, and your h is approaching to 0, so put the value now. So 0 plus 2 into 0 is equal to 0. So the value of right hand limit also came equal to left hand limit, and therefore we can say since left hand limit is equal to right hand limit, therefore limit does exist. Is it very clear? Thank you. Okay, now this is the last question, question number 10. Question number 10. This question also is a multifunctional question. This question is a multifunctional question. We are given two functions, right? One function is fx is equal to 2px plus 3 when if the x is less than 1. If the x is less than 1. Another function is fx is equal to 1 minus px square. 1 minus px square, and where the x is greater than 1. X is greater than 1. So the question says here, this is a multifunctional question. Here the question says, for what value of p the limit does exist? For what value of p the limit exists? Is this very clear? So here the question says, for these two functions the limit exists, right? And if the limit exists, then what is the value of p? Is it okay? So we will start. First of all, we will calculate the two limit, and because the question says that the limit exists, that means whatever value of left hand limit and right hand limit comes, will be equated because the limit exists, the question says. So we will take the left hand limit equal to right hand limit, and by equating the left hand limit and right hand limit, we will be able to finally calculate the value of p. So I will show you the process. First of all, let me write the function. Right here also we have to be able to select the correct function for the left hand limit and for the right hand limit. Okay, so the limit is, if I calculate limit LHL, if I calculate the left hand limit, LHL is equal to limit x tending to 1. The question says x tending to 1 and then fx. Now because you are going to calculate the left hand limit, so you have to say minus 1. Is it okay? That means x is tending not to 1, it is little less than 1. So the value of x is less than 1. Now you can go to the two function and then see that where you find the value of x is less than 1. And that function will be chosen for the left hand limit. So in my opinion, the first function 2px plus 3 is the function where the value of x is less than 1. So for this we will choose that function. So we will take 2px plus 3. 2px plus 3. This function is chosen for calculating the left hand limit. Is this okay? And now here we'll say let x is equal to 1 minus h. And where we say as x approaches to 1, h will be approaching to 0. Now we will change the limit. So we'll say limit is equal to limit h tending to 0. H tending to 0. Now for x we will write the value as 1 minus h. So 1 minus h plus 3. Now we will operate and simplify. Limit h tending to 0. After simplifying this function only we can use the value of h. So first of all we are simplifying. So 2p into 1 is 2p, right? Then 2p into h minus 2ph, and then plus 3 as it is. Now the function is simplified. We don't have any like term also. We can put the value of h, and therefore it will become 2p will be 2p only minus 2p and then into 0 and then plus 3. Am I clear? So this value becomes equal to 2p plus 3. 2p plus 3. This becomes the value of your left hand limit. Is this okay? Now we will calculate the right hand limit. Right hand limit is equal to limit x tending to this time 1 plus. Now you have to go to the question again and then find out that in which function you find the value of x is greater than 1. So the second function 1 minus px square is the function where the value of x is greater than 1. So we will take that function for this limit, for the right hand limit. So it is 1 minus px square. 1 minus px square. After this, here also we'll do the same thing. Let x is equal to 1 plus h because right hand limit, so therefore plus. And now here also we'll write as x approaches to 1, h will be approaching to 0. Clear? Now we can change the limit. We'll write here limit x tending to h tending to 0, right? This is 1 minus p, and for x we will write 1 plus h, so 1 plus h whole square. Now let us simplify first of all the function, then we'll put the value of h as equal to 0. So limit h tending to 0, we'll write here 1 minus p. Now 1a plus b whole square. So 1 square means 1 plus 2h plus h square. Clear? Now we can put the value and we can simplify. In one step itself we can finish it. So this is 1 as it is, and then this whole part will become 0, right? Because here we have h, and only this p into 1 will remain as it is, so minus p. This becomes the value of your right hand limit. You calculated the left hand limit, you got it as this much, and you calculated the right hand limit, you got it at this much, right? Now in the question it says that the limit exists. Since the question says that the limit exists, we'll write here, since the limit exists, since limit exists, therefore what is the conclusion? Therefore this implies your left hand limit has to be equal to right hand limit. So we will equate now these two, and therefore we'll write here 2p plus 3 is equal to 1 minus p. Now calculate and get the value of p. This is a very simple task. So this implies, next step, we will collect the like term. So 2p and this minus p will come to this side, will become 1, and then this is 1, and this 3 will go to that side, will become minus 3, right? And then in the next step we can write this as, this is p, right? This is p. 2p plus p is 3p, and this side equal to 1 minus 3 is equal to minus 2, and therefore finally your p is equal to negative 2 over 3. So this way we could calculate the value of p. Hope I am very clear to you all. This exercise was not very difficult. There are some few questions I have left for you. You will please try those questions as your assignment. With this, we are ending the session here. Thank you so much. Stay safe, take care, and keep enjoying maths. Keep learning mathematics.